If you thought the Squid Game Season 3 trailer was packed with secrets, think again. Netflix just dropped 13 official photos, and they reveal way more than the trailer ever did, giving us a look into the insane plot, every player who's meeting their grim fate, and the darkest theory we've seen so far. Let's break it down, photo by photo. The first photo is deceptively simple. A triangle guard stands with player 246. But that's not just any guard. It's No Yule, guard 11, the insider who's been secretly going against the frontman. This confirms that player 246 is not only alive, but did it with the help of No Yule, who takes him to the surgery room. We know this since there's another photo where No Yule is seen with a gun pointed at someone, but we'll talk about that later. So does this mean No Yule will turn on the Squid Game protocol? Will she be actively saving players, starting with 246? Or better yet, another rebellion from the inside? Photo 2 shows Jun-hee, alive, and more importantly, in the 5th game. That means she survives the 4th game, despite being heavily pregnant. But this isn't a victory shot. She's talking to Myung-gi, who's visibly furious. Remember that earlier teaser image where Jun-hee is crying, possibly giving birth? It had the same background. Now this photo confirms the timeline. The moment we're seeing here is right before she goes into labor, possibly even right before her death. And the person yelling at her? Myung-gi, the father of her child, the man who abandoned her before the games. He wants her to keep playing, but she's in pain, on the verge of collapse. Is this the moment Jun-hee breaks? Or is this the moment the entire game system breaks, because she gives birth mid-game? The third photo shows Hunju, Mr. Gramps, and the shaman standing together, where they're about to enter the 4th game. And while the scene looks quiet, the walls are screaming. Look closely. There are 2 Korean words scribbled across the wall. Sarang, meaning love, and Napyun, meaning mean or evil. They're not just random doodles, these are emotional tripwires. Like the graffiti we saw in the trailer, they're designed to scramble players thinking right before the 4th game. Now tie that to the knife we saw in another photo. And it's clear this game is not only physical, but also psychological warfare. A close-range deathmatch, one that likely forces players to turn on the very people they've bonded with. Love and evil. Sentiment and survival. And remember when director Hwang Dong-hyuk said the wall paintings won't mean anything this season? He never said anything about the writing. Now let's take a look at photo 4. This one hits hard. Player 333 Myung-gi stares forward with dread on his face. Behind him, a few other players stand silently. They look like they've just seen death itself, and they probably have. The background tells us everything. This is the 5th game. The massive jump rope arena with Young-hee and Kyeol-soo swinging the rope like executioners. Regret is all over their faces, which is funny because as we've seen in the trailer, most of those players are players who voted O. Thanks to this photo, we can also confirm that player 333 Myung-gi survived the 4th game, the same as player 192, player 134, and player 119. Is this where it all ends for them? Or would Myung-gi have to witness the death of his ex-girlfriend before his own? Photo number 5 might be the most overlooked photo, but it's actually one of the most revealing. At first glance, it's just the entry to the 5th game, but in the bottom left corner, there's a bench and a small window with a glaring yellow light. It's the same place where Jun-hee was seen sitting in the teaser, crying. That confirms this is the moment before she gives birth. Not in a hospital, not with care. Most likely on a bench, in a death arena. And if she gives birth before her turn on the rope, what happens? Is the child safe? Do the games pause? Or is this just another brutal spectacle for the VIPs? Player 388, Dae-ho, is peeking around a corner in this next photo, and he looks terrified. What did he find? Based on his expression and the context, this is most likely just after he discovers the drop in the teaser that leads nowhere, seemingly shocked when he turns. Perhaps he saw a red player. Panic is written all over his face. Dae-ho survives for now, but what he sees might shatter his sanity. This one changes everything. Player 007, Young-sik, is walking down a hallway, blood all over his red vest. But here's the twist, it's not his blood. What's particularly interesting about this photo is that his glasses are also shattered. Fans think he fought Hyunju, but here's the smarter theory. He fought one of the shaman's followers. Maybe even to protect his mother, Gumja. Here's where it gets even stranger. Young-sik originally received a blue ball, meaning he should have a blue vest. But instead, he's seen in the shot wearing a red one. Does this mean he switched teams? Either way, a Young-sik redemption arc is long overdue. This next one might be the most emotional shot in the entire batch. Player 149, Gyumja the mother, looks absolutely destroyed. We've already seen her in the trailer, begging the guards to stop the games. But now with this image, things feel even more final. Behind her, we see the voting board. The O's are winning, the X's barely hanging on. That means once again the majority wants the games to continue. And Gyumja knows exactly what that means. More death, more loss, no escape. Her expression could mean one of two things. Either she just lost her son, Yongsik, or she knows she's about to. And here's where things get really interesting. If you look at the X's side, you'll see just a sliver of someone's hair. That hairstyle? It might belong to Hyunju, suggesting she survived the 4th game. But there's also a chance it's Namgyu. But let's see what the season is yet to reveal. And speaking of Namgyu, the next photo might be our first glimpse of what he's planning to do next. Player 124, Namgyu holding a red box. It's the standard equipment kit for the 4th game. Inside, a knife. But it's not the box that matters, it's his face. There's no fear, no hesitation, just cold, calculated aggression. This man has made his decision, and that decision is violence. This photo confirms that Namgyu will not be playing defense in the next round. He's ready to take people out, possibly even his teammates. And with everything we know about him, his drug use, his instability, this might be the moment where he completely goes crazy. This one feels quiet, but it might be one of the most important photos of all. We see Junho alone staring down at a Squid Game invitation card. And here's the thing, this isn't during the games. It doesn't match the current timeline. Instead, it looks like a flashback. Before the hunt, before the infiltration, before he knew anything about Squid Game, he found this card. And based on the context, it's probably Inho's card, his missing brother. This photo is likely showing us the moment everything changed for Junho. The moment he stumbled into a conspiracy so dark it turned him from a cop into a fugitive. It also confirms one thing loud and clear. Junho survived Season 1, and now he's back and closer than ever to tearing the whole system down. And he's not the only one working from the inside, because Guard 11, No Yule, is finally making her move. Guard 11, No Yule, standing in the surgery room, pointing a gun. This shot is loaded with hidden detail. We know this room. The tile floor, the surgical cart, the medical equipment. It's the same black market surgery room from Season 1, the place where organs were harvested, deals were made, and secrets were buried. But now it looks like the power dynamic is flipped. No Yule has the gun, and she's not guarding anyone, she's aiming to kill. Based on earlier photos, this is the exact moment she helps player 246, Young Seok, survive after the rebellion. But how? By turning on the other guards. And once she clears the room, it's very likely she'll hand Young Seok a guard uniform and tell him to blend in. This next one takes us way back to a game we never thought we'd see. The frontman, before the mask. Inho is shown as a player wearing the classic finalist suit with the number 132 on his chest. And standing across from him, Oh Il-nam, player 001, the original creator of the Squid Game. This image is likely from the 2015 games, the 28th edition, when Inho entered out of desperation to pay for his pregnant wife's liver transplant, and won. That one victory cost him everything, and eventually turned him from a broken man into the frontman. This flashback doesn't just give us lore, it gives us motive. It confirms that Inho didn't start as a villain. He became one. Because in Squid Game, winners don't escape. They evolve into monsters. And speaking of monsters, let's end with the man who's walked this road once before, and now might be doing it all over again. Gi-hun, sitting alone in a suit, in front of his final meal. The setting is familiar. The silver table, the minimalist plate, the silence before the storm. It's the same ritual we saw in Season 1, the dinner before the final game. But this time, Gi-hun looks different. He's not just tired, he's broken. Eyes filled with anger. Something or someone has shattered him. There's no pride in his expression, no relief at surviving, only one emotion. Rage. Rage at the people behind the games. Rage at the system. Rage at himself for still being alive. And based on everything we've seen, this dinner isn't the end. It's the calm before the final confrontation. Because what comes next is personal. If the trailer hinted at chaos, these photos confirm it. And if Season 3 is really the final season, then these aren't just images, they're goodbyes. foreshadowing every betrayal, death, and moral collapse to come. And the real question now is, will Gi-hun win the Squid Game again?